The other point that you touched a little bit, which I find a little bit harder to deal with, is this in terms of policy. So, for example, back in Kenya, we've been trying to get an organic policy passed since 2008. It's been a back and two front, politicians say, this is a good initiative, we're going to look at it, sort of shelves it somewhere, and it's been up and for sort of confrontation with politicians in a way. But from your end, we've seen a lot of success, right? And you mentioned about a lot of, talking with politicians, even 10 out of 11 political parties listening to you. So maybe you can also help us understand what is the right way of going through talking with politicians, for example. What is the right political approach that organic policymakers, for example, should they try to approach in terms when communicating to political parties or political individuals in their organic advocacy, for example?
Yeah. Well, our approach has always been to start with what they want to do. And so with politicians from different parties, what's important to them? Because organics offer so much. Yeah. It's good for rural development. It's good for the green agenda. It's good for water quality. It's good for health. So we try to tune into where politicians are. And if their whole issue is only about economic growth, then we will talk about economic growth. Yeah. And that this is a viable way for farmers to get a decent price for their food. It places them in the right place in the market, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's really kind of an empathic approach to politicians. It's just like they've got problems to solve. They have visions and dreams. Yeah. We want to help you solve that. And so that's been our approach. So now, we have support. It wasn't like this at the beginning, but we have support from 10 out of 11 political parties, but for very different reasons. And some it's just because it's a good export business, or for one of the parties, animal welfare is the main thing. Yeah. And so that's been our approach. And then we've never forced them to choose between organics and conventional. Again, that's our communication, which has been positive, and we don't attack conventional farmers. So if we force them to choose between conventional and organic, they'll choose conventional, most of the political parties, because that's most of farming, that's most of the votes, and that's most of the economy in farming today. Yeah. And we don't need them to choose, because essentially we're trying to build up organics. So we need resources to innovation, product, market development and other issues, and, training farmers. And so building up the organic sector requires taking some battles. Yeah. We made the world's first GMO law that included compensation to organic farmers if their farms are polluted by GMOs and those kind of things. So we've had to take some battles. Yeah. No question about that. Pesticides, problems coming onto our farms, et cetera. But mostly we've just been about building up the organic sector, and that's been a viable way to get broad support. And then following up and timing, and every time there's a major issue, like now a new biodiversity strategy is going to be built on, we get organics built in as a tool, because it's a good tool. So we come in and we say, okay, organics can be part of this. And then when organics gets built into a plan for rural development, for example, then there's also new resources to develop the organic sector.